Okay, morning. Michelle in Ghana again this morning. Um, I have a couple of concerns, but when I thought of those concerns this morning, I asked myself the question, how free you are. Some of those terms and contexts that drag you down rabbit holes. Freedom is one of that for me because I keep hear people shouting freedom, and my mind flash all the way back some years ago when I thought of the definition. Because when I thought of the definition of freedom, my first thought was freedom is subjective. I think some persons may think it has a definite definition, but I think different persons define freedom in different ways. And when I thought about it, I believe it comes down to choices. The choices we have. And I still believe our choices can be limited. So really and truly, depending on what freedom is to you, you are free, right? So when I thought that, I remembered some years ago, because I guess some people would argue that it's not subjective. But I think the way to find out if that is foolishness is to ask yourself the question, what does freedom mean to you? If you ask me what freedom means to me, it would be different. People fight for freedom. Isn't and freedom here, fight for freedom here is being free still to make choices, not being told when to go into your house, not to be told when to work, not to be told when to stop work, no deadlines, things like that. It's freedom of choice. So freedom is really, to me, choice. Anyone can disagree. I remember an argument I had. I was being courted by this American. I think it was my first time trying online dating. And I had paid my bills because when I work at the end of the month, it's just bills. So it's paycheck to paycheck living. I've lived paycheck to paycheck all my life. This is the first time in my life that I have not lived paycheck to paycheck. And in a sense, I'm still what? I have to think about that a little bit because I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. But I remember he had a problem with the fact that I didn't leave money to buy food, and he was saying that food is a priority. And I said to him, no, I don't think it is. For me, the priority is my rent, my lights, my cable. And that switched eventually because I didn't have to have cable. I don't have to have cable. I don't have to have a landline phone. And I had a landline phone at the time. But to me, priority then was making sure there is roof over my head and light and water. Those are priority. He believed food was a priority. After you buy food for the month, wherever the chips lie, that's where they lie. Everything else fall into place. So, and I know some persons think like that. The food first. It never was to me. It was easier for me to buy food, pay my rent, my lights, and so on, and then see what happens with the food. I've never starved. Never starved. At 56, I'm 57-year-old this year, September. And I've never been in a situation where I had gone days without eating. Never. What I eat is affected at any given point, but not hungry. And it's the same here. So what is freedom to you? Really? I noticed that some persons, maybe they lived in America for years and they wish they had a big house, and they come here and they can get that big house and they build it to the specifications they want, their dream house, so to speak. But isn't building a dream house another tether? To the person's building the dream house, it's not. But to me, being locked to the idea of getting your dream home and your dream car and so on, isn't that also a type of prison? Because you got to get the money, you got to work the money to do it. And then you have to maintain it. And then having a big house doesn't it have to be cleaned as well? So I thought about all of those things, and I thought about what I had here. Because I remember, I like seeing the big houses, they look pretty. The different features in it is really pretty. And it's like a dream, but what is a dream really? For me, the dream is to be free of having to do something, being bound to doing it. That's my freedom. So being free then computes to being able to get up whenever I want in the morning. I don't have to get up and go and run a business. And don't get me wrong, I don't want anybody to think, say, I don't need to work. I want to work. I want to have my own money. And I will. My current income earner now is my artwork, right? Passive income. And that too carries its own responsibilities. But is anyone really totally free? Because you have to earn, yes. How you earn differs. You have to get up and do your housework and whatever. The less you have, the more free you are, yes. But the idea that we are completely free, I don't believe that. There's no way we can be completely free if we have to think about surviving, being able to eat, being able to wear clothes, being able to... it's just something I thought of this morning when my daughter... I heard her trying to get someone to pick her up to take my granddaughter down to catch her bus. And I remember a video I did some time ago after like 2 days rain. None of the bikers wanted to come up. And the fact is, it's not about wanting to come up. It's not about the ability to, in this case, because the roads were such that they couldn't navigate. And if they tried to navigate, they'd skid, right? So that limits our freedom too, our freedom of movement. If the rain falls enough up here, the road is not such that you can navigate freely, right? And the excuse the biker she called gave was that the road was messed up. The joke was, it wasn't, because the little rain that fell last night, it wasn't even 10 minutes of rain, and it wasn't consistently falling. So when you look at the ground this morning, I don't know if you guys can see the ground. Let me see. This is the ground. No moisture. The dirt over there, dry. Right? My point is, as long as you live in a society with people and you are tied to their movements, you're tied to their idiosyncrasies, you're tied to their moods. Because for a profession, well, that's a profession. They drive people around on their bikes. For him to say that he can't come because the road is messed up, when I am looking at the road that is not messed up, it means that there's another reason that he's not coming. It could be because he's not in the mood to come all the way up here. Could be he's just not in the mood to take her personally, anywhere this morning. But her movements now is restricted to his moods or his reasoning, if you get what I'm saying. So how free are we? Right? Having your own car can solve that problem. But then too, there are limitations with that as well. So the point I'm making is, what is freedom really? It really just is limited to your idea of what it is and what it means to you, and how much you have a choice in the different areas in your life. That's just my take on it, you know. But it can be disappointing to realize that you can't move because you're depending on, and I did a video already about the transportation problem here. Well, my transportation problems. I'm not talking about the general transportation problem in Ghana. I'm talking about you moving to Ghana and don't have a transport, don't have a vehicle to take you up and down. It's just that because I'm thinking of freedom, that too is a limitation to your freedom, your freedom of movement. That's just a thought I thought I'd share this morning. Michelle here again in Ghana. I'm enjoying living in Ghana. But there are things that you have to contemplate. And if you're coming to Ghana, I believe too, in view of what you view or you think freedom is, I think you need to decide what freedom is for you before you come here, because there are limitations here. So decide what freedom means to you too before you come to Ghana.